Today we're going to talk about mob life. The Mafia is one of the most notorious criminal organizations in the world. They have been featured in hundreds, if not thousands, of movies and TV shows. We all know that the Mafia is bad news. But what exactly is life like for those who live it? What is life like inside the Mafia? Let's find out. Number 10. A different way of life. If you were to ask an average Joe about the Mafia, he would probably tell you that they brutal killers who run around shooting people and extorting money from shopkeepers. While this is true, it's not the whole truth. There are several misconceptions surrounding the Mafia, and one of them is that every member is a cold-blooded killer. That's simply not true. In fact, there are many members of the Mafia who go their entire lives without committing murder. Of course, it helps to be a ruthless killer if you want to get ahead in the Mafia, but it's not an absolute requirement. Some members of the Mafia are actually really smart business people. Sure, their business involves illegal activities, but they're still successful businessmen nonetheless. Even though some Mafia members choose not to kill people, they still have to follow a code of silence. This means that even if you're innocent and have nothing to do with any crimes the Mafia might be involved in, if you're a member of the family, you cannot talk to the police. You can't implicate your fellow Mafia members or give up their secrets, even if it means going to jail for a crime you didn't commit. No. 9. Making money. So how much money do you think a made man in the Mafia makes per year? How about a caporegium or underboss? How about the boss himself? Let's start with the lowest ranking member, the soldier. A soldier is basically just another foot soldier. He doesn't really make much money, but he does have access to other sources of income. For example, he may get paid to protect a certain business or neighborhood. And if he's really good at his job, word gets around, and he could end up making a lot of money by protecting other businesses or neighborhoods. Soldiers usually don't get rich, but they also don't usually end up in the poorhouse. The same can't be said for the capos. Capos aren't soldiers. They're the guys who manage the soldiers. They in charge of a crew, and they responsible for seeing that everything runs smoothly within their crew. They also collect money from the various illegal activities that go on in their territory. So yeah, the captain definitely gets richer than the soldiers, but it's nowhere near as much money as a boss makes. The bosses are the guys at the top, and they're the ones who really rake in the dough. Number 8, becoming a made man. So how do you become a member of the Mafia? Well, it's not easy. First of all, you have to be born into it. There are very few exceptions where someone from the outside has been accepted into the Mafia, but this is very rare. Most of the time, if you're not born into a Mafia family, you're never going to set foot in one. As you might imagine, the Mafia is a pretty tight-knit group, and they like to keep it that way. Once you're born into a Mafia family, you're expected to uphold the family name and carry on their traditions. This means that even if you try to stay away from crime, the Mafia will eventually catch up to you. You see, the Mafia is all about blood. If one of your relatives was a member of the Mafia, then chances are you're going to be too. When you're born, you're automatically inducted into the Mafia. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. There was a guy named Michael Corleone who tried to opt out of the Mafia life, but he had no luck. His father was the boss of a Mafia family, and young Michael was expected to follow in his footsteps. No. 7. Family ties. Family is important in the Mafia. In fact, it's more important than anything else. If you're a member of the Mafia, then your family comes first, second, and third. And if you have anyone else's interests at heart, you're a dead man. Loyalty is everything in the Mafia. And if you're loyal to your family, then you'll be respected by your fellow mobsters. On the other hand, if you're disloyal, then you'll be an outcast, and no one will want to have anything to do with you. It's not just your blood relatives that are important either. The Mafia is a big family, and you're expected to be loyal to everyone in it. This includes your fellow members, associates, and even their families. If you're ever torn between what is best for your family and what is best for the Mafia, you always have to choose the Mafia. Remember, loyalty is everything. No. 6. Respect. Another important thing in the Mafia is respect. If you want to be respected by the other mobsters, you have to earn it. You and just walk around bragging about how great you are or how many people you've killed. You have to let your actions speak for you. If you're a soldier, you have to prove yourself to be brave and ruthless. If you're a capo, you have to show that you're a good leader and a shrewd businessman. And if you're the boss, you have to command respect from everyone. This isn't always easy, especially when you're new to the Mafia. You're going to have to earn the respect of your fellow members, and it might take some time. But if you work hard and prove yourself to be worthy, you will eventually earn their respect. 5. Keeping quiet. One of the most important things that every member of the Mafia must do is keep quiet. This means never talking to the police, never implicating your fellow mobsters, and never giving up their secrets. If you ever break this rule, you will be punished severely. The Mafia has a code of silence, and it's one of the reasons why they've even able to operate for so long. The cops can't get enough evidence to prosecute them because they won't talk. This doesn't just apply to high-ranking members either. Even the soldiers are expected to keep quiet. In fact, it's one of the things they're taught when they first join the Mafia. For doing what you're told, another important thing that every member of the Mafia must do is do what they're told. This goes for everyone, from the soldiers to the bosses. If you're a member of the Mafia, then you don't get to question orders. You just do what you're told. This is one of the reasons why the Mafia is such a successful criminal organization. Everyone is loyal to each other, and they all do their part to keep the organization running smoothly. No. 3. Living the high life. Being a member of the Mafia isn't all bad. In fact, there are quite a few perks that come along with the territory. For example, you're usually pretty well off financially. As we mentioned earlier, the bosses and capos make a lot of money. Even the soldiers aren't usually poor. You also get to live a life of luxury. When you're a member of the Mafia, you can afford to live in nice houses, drive expensive cars, and wear fancy clothes. In fact, it's not uncommon for mobsters to live lifestyles that are similar to those of celebrities. Finally, you get to be part of an exclusive club. The Mafia is one of the most secretive criminal organizations in the world. When you're a member, you get to be part of that secrecy. You know, things that the general public does, and you have the power that comes with that knowledge. No, 2. Only underneath. Part of being in the Mafia is understanding that there's always someone beneath you. This means that you should always be aware of the guys in your crew and what they were doing. This also means that you shouldn't trust anyone completely. You never know when one of them might turn rat and start talking to the cops. Soldiers are constantly wary of their fellow soldiers. No. 1. The Commission. Each family has a governing body known as the Commission. The Commission is made up of a small group of high-ranking members who are responsible for making major decisions for the family. For example, they are the ones who decide how much money to charge for a certain protection racket, or how to divide up the profits from a big score. The Commission is also responsible for maintaining order within the family and making sure that everyone is following the rules. If a soldier or capo breaks the rules, the Commission can punish them severely, sometimes even to the death. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, let us know in the comments section below. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.